the opening statement, but this is the mayor. Mayor Concanon, please
Great.
proceed.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the City of Woburn public hearing on Comcast Cable Television franchise renewal. I'm Mayor Mike Concanon, serving in my capacity as the city's cable license issuing authority. This hearing is part of the city's process to hear from the public regarding the community's cable needs in connection with the city's consideration, final action, and possible execution of a proposed Comcast renewal license. Notice of this hearing was in the local newspaper 2 successive weeks, and renewal documents have been available for public inspection at the office of the clerk. Copies of the legal advertisement have been entered into the hearing record as hearing exhibits 1 and 2. This hearing is being recorded as required by state regulations. By way of background for the public, please note that on September 13th, 2023, the city previously held a public hearing to ascertain Woburn cable needs and invited and considered public comment on license renewal needs. Members of the public, Comcast, and other attendees may have further comments and questions regarding Comcast's proposed renewal license, and comments and/or questions should be directed to me. Before proceeding with the public hearing, I want to thank Brian Ouellette, Executive Director of the Woburn Public Media Center, for providing the city with technical information about license renewal needs, for his diligence throughout the difficult process of cable license renewal negotiations. Persons seeking to comment should come forward or speak up and identify themselves before speaking. Before hearing from the public, if Comcast representative Kerry Morris is present, we would appreciate you making a statement at this time. Is Kerry here?
Kerry is not here.
With that, we can proceed with comments from the public and any interested parties. Mr. Ouellette.
Hi, I'm Brian Ouellette. I'm the Executive Director of Woburn Public Media Center. And first of all, I'd like to thank Comcast, the Mayor, Attorney Salvati, and Attorney August for moving forward with this. WPMC is more relevant now than ever, I believe. Hyperlocal coverage of events and meetings are so important to the community, not only to keep residents informed, but to show the transparency of Woburn government. Last year, we covered 133 government meetings, 116 high school sports games, and most of these broadcasts were also live streamed. We continue to offer television production classes at Woburn Memorial High School, and some of our students have gone to college majoring in communications going through our program. As we've grown over the years, we cover more and more events and meetings for the city. We've hired new employees to help with coverage, and we try to keep up with new technology while staying under budget. In order to keep moving forward, we rely on the funding that Comcast provides through franchise fees and capital funding when the contracts are renewed. As we hire more employees to keep up with demand, we're also losing 5 to 7% of franchise fees each year due to people cutting the cord, people canceling cable, and moving towards streaming services. We hope to continue the wide variety of coverage we provide that Woburn citizens have come to expect. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Is there anybody else who would like to be heard? Mr. Dwyer, please.
Yeah, come right up.
Morning, folks.
You're the speaker.
Okay.
Speak up, that's all.
Good morning. My name is Jim Dwyer, lifelong resident of Woburn, former youth hockey coach, former alderman, Ward 4, and former state representative and proud member of the board of directors at cable TV. I can only tell you what my experiences are, and it's been nothing but positive, especially when you're an elected official in the town. It's very nice to be able to go and articulate your opinions and answer questions and, you know, why you voted on a certain thing. And that's certainly what our local cable TV brings access to. There's a lot of folks that unfortunately aren't able to get to a lot of the meetings, especially the hot topics that currently are before our city now. And in my area where I live, it's always great. And a lot of my neighbors they're a little bit older, they can't get to those meetings, but they certainly can watch them on TV and getting the information that they so well need to make decisions on what's good for our neighborhood and not. So To make a long story very, very short, I could go on for hours. My dealings with local TV, and when I was an elected official, I used to have a show. Attend a lot of the shows that were on cable, just to, again, to specify what my policies were, et cetera. So,
Go ahead.
oh, is there somebody there now?
No, they just wanted,
Can you hear, Mr. Dwyer, Bill?
I just had to tap the 7.
Are you able to hear what Mr. Dwyer is currently saying?
F7 shuts you on and off totally. F7 will
I don't
raise
think I
your
can hear.
volume. F6
it's being,
will lower your volume. As long as
So my important information is not being relayed here.
it's being recorded.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Future
David and Bill, can you hear me?
Apparently not.
I can't believe all this stuff to know about these
Hold
computers.
that thought for 1 second, Mr. Dwyer.
I'm getting older,
We
Mike.
may ask you to repeat
They're
everything.
just talking to each other.
You call Bill.
Hey, Bill. Bill,
They mean, I should sign up. I got into the 21st.
Bill, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
My voice is coming through now.
Yes, we can hear you, but
I can hear you.
can you hear us on the computer?
Yeah, I heard Dave Hunt on the computer.
I get that, but can you hear us?
I don't think I'm hearing you on the
Answers the question.
That's the
I'm
problem.
hearing Dave Hunt.
This is being recorded.
How about now?
Try something.
Whatever you did, you actually took David Hunt off of it.
Yeah, this is now muted, so.
How about now?
Not hearing.
Okay.
Only hearing it on Bill's phone coming over.
Well, that should be sufficient, but we'd have to start over with, so you didn't hear Brian either?
No.
Did you hear the mayor?
Which is okay.
Okay,
It's being recorded.
it's being recorded.
So we have begun the public hearing. We've made the appropriate statements. The meeting is being recorded. We've entertained input from Brian Oulette and now Jim Dwyer. So we are proceeding with the meeting. At this point, it appears that Mr. Dwyer is about to wrap up his comments.
Well, after speaking for an hour and a half, I'll wrap it up now.
He's going to wrap up, so please stand by for 1 second.
All set?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to wrap it up, just just to edify who I am, I'm a lifelong resident of Woburn. I was an alderman in the town for a period of time, and also I represented Woburn in the state legislature for 10 years, 5 two-year terms. I'm currently on the board of directors of public media in Woburn, and I can't impress enough how important public media is for the Woburn residents. Hear the concerns of the Woburn residents, and not only that, but it's an integral part of town to emphasize the good things that the town does, the cultural events, the organizations, Flag Day, Lions Day Parade, Festival on the Common. I mean, it's just a well-rounded informational category, so to speak, so folks know what's going on in the city of Woburn. I'll wrap it up by saying there's a lot of folks that can't get to meetings, but it's often nice to have this on here so they'll be able to articulate and listen to what the viewpoints of our city elected officials are on issues. So I'd highly recommend Woburn Public Media to receive any access they need and to continue their good work.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Dwyer.
David, do you have anything to add?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. There's too much feedback.
Yep, try now. All right, let me mute you on the phone. Go ahead. Go ahead, speak, Dave.
Run a show called American Prince Spring Cycle Protection. This allows me to get the message out
with gifts such as that district attorney and Ryan, and all the helpful, different entities that can help people in the city of Woburn and surrounding, see where they can go for treatment, what the city is doing about our opioid epidemic. I've won several shows out there, even Vinny doing the cooking show. You've got Cindy doing the Zumba show, which not only helps seniors, but gives them a good quality of life. I mean, they watch a show, they're not sitting on the couch or out there exercising, which is healthy for their body. We have people that can't see their kids in sports because they're working 2 jobs, or both members of the family working. And they can come home and watch the football game they didn't get to see and see what they can do. So Woburn Public Media does have a great role in the community, allowing people to see things they wouldn't see because they're absent for various reasons. So I suggest that we support the show, support Woburn Public Media, get its funding, not only the level they're at, but even try to increase their funding for the equipment and the level of service that they provide. I mean, obviously, just what's going on right now, they can use the funding to try to improve the communications, just on this meeting alone, never mind the community. So I suggest that Woburn Public Media gets the support it needs. We're all volunteer out here. We have people out there with cameras, football games, they did festival on the common for people that missed it. You have road races they don't get to see. I work with a group called Soul Lanterns, which have a walkathon every September. And people wouldn't even know this exists if it wasn't for the public media. Not only do we get PSAs, but they actually film the event so people watching it can say, hey, that's something I'd be interested in next year. It's a shame I missed it. So I think we should throw our support behind the public media and take the perfect example to try to get communication equipment that actually will work, and we can have a meeting that everybody can participate in the correct way. So thank you for letting me speak, and please throw your support behind the media program.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, we heard everything.
Is there anybody else who would like to be heard during this public hearing?
Seeing none. Bill, what would be the next step for us to approve?
I have, before we go on, I have a couple of statements.
Oh, Brian's gonna make a couple statements.
So I have a couple of written statements from.
Hold on. Bill, if we can hold on one more minute, we have a couple more public comments before we get to that. Thank you. Mr. Roulette.
So I have a couple of statements from people who couldn't make it here today. One is from Susan Tifo. Susan is the Visual and Performing Arts Curriculum Coordinator for Woburn Public Schools. Just wait for a second. Her statement is, the Woburn Public Media Center plays a pivotal role in enriching educational and cultural fabric of our
The
community
actual computer.
by providing invaluable support for school programs. Through their state-of-the-art facilities and expert guidance, WPMC empowers students to explore and showcase their creativity in innovative ways. They assist with filming numerous school events, including many visual and performing arts programs. They ensure that these important events reach a wider audience, and they actively collaborate with schools to enhance productions from plays to concerts to multimedia projects. By fostering hands-on learning and promoting student engagement, WPMC is an indispensable partner in cultivating the next generation in communicators. So that again is from Ms. Susan Tifo, the Visual and Performing Arts Curriculum Coordinator.
Okay, thank you.
I also have a statement from Jean Graham, who is the president of the Woburn Public Media Center Board of Directors. She writes, I would like to share my support for WPMC and advocate for its continue receiving Comcast's generous capital equipment grants in addition to community access fees. I've been on the board of directors for nearly 20 years since WPMC's inception. I've seen the growth in professional development of the staff and volunteers firsthand. One of the biggest contributors to this growth has been the access to the state-of-the-art equipment that the capital equipment grants have provided. WPMC invests those capital equipment grants wisely and is committed to extending access to more community events and government meetings by equipping more meeting spaces with cameras, and by purchasing a mobile studio. By doing so, it is enabling more Woburn residents to participate in local government and build a greater sense of community, which is sorely needed in these times of limited local access outlets. I would like to thank Comcast in advance for its continued support of Woburn and the Woburn Public Media Center. Thank you, Gene Graham.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Is there any other public comment? Anyone else who wishes to be heard? We're looking for any hands raised or anyone online. There's nobody else present here in the committee room who wishes to be heard. So with that, seeing no other requests for public comment, I'm going to close this public hearing. I would turn to to Attorney August for any guidance at this point before I read a closing statement.
I would like to mention the city was phenomenally responsive and strong throughout the many twists and turns of negotiating a very strong 61-page Comcast renewal license. And particularly want to thank Mark Salvati, because he did not miss a beat in terms of like every email or phone call. There was always diligent city involvement and vetting and commenting on and helping, which helps the councils who are out there negotiating with these companies, because when they see the city solicitor so involved, that it's not just the special counsel. They know the city and the mayor are engaged, and so I'm very grateful for that. Comcast is a very fair negotiation partner. I want to just state that for the record. Part of their job is to say no and no to this and that, but they would always go back and ask and then meet us halfway. And the financial support for your local facilities, which these days are very important in terms of municipal meeting coverage and school coverage, they agreed to the maximum amount permitted by law, the 5% of gross revenues. They agreed to capital funding, which is somewhat stronger than the last capital funding, despite their loss of a significant number of subscribers due to cord cutting. And they're providing something they never provided before, which is a high-definition PEG access channel. They're upgrading the three standard definitions to one HD PEG access channel and two SD SDI, which is definitely above the SD. There are a lot of unknowns in the future with all the changing technology that could result in further cord cutting. And since the 5% of gross is based on subscriber revenues and they're losing subscribers, there can be some gradual slippage in that. So I just note for the community that they have to look at, we don't know what the new technologies will bring. So, you have to be on top of that and looking at other sectors are looking at maintaining level funding while they lose subscribers through underwriting, through cultural grants, through other kinds of partnerships and municipal backup. So that's part of the long-term prognosis. But based on my experience doing about 100 of these renewal licenses since 1990, working on only municipalities, the cable licenses. This is definitely, a high-end model. Comcast used our draft, so it's been vetted by us, and we didn't use their draft, which most municipalities do. So they were fair enough minded about that. I want to thank Brian Miette, also, like Mark, he was available at every twist and turn. Other than that, just procedurally, once Comcast signs this, we do have to file a fully signed document with the state DTC. And that's supposed to include a very brief statement of why we approved it. And that mayor has a document that Mark has, the mayor's statement of approval, which we can use that language in the later filing of the state. So I think the next step is just to go to the approval statement. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. So with that, I'll offer this. Acting in my capacity as the statutory cable license issuing authority pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 166A, and finding that the cable franchise renewal proposal of Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC, known as Comcast, reasonably meets the franchise and cable-related renewal needs and interests of the public and the city, and finding that Comcast's financial and technical qualifications and Comcast's support for the local programming, studio, channels, facilities, and services are reasonable to meet city cable franchise needs, and based on review of public hearing proceedings, review of negotiations and license documents, and guidance from the city solicitor and specialized cable counsel attorney August, I hereby approve the proposed Woburn Comcast renewal license, which I shall execute forthwith. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. I think we're complete and we're good. All right,
Thank you very much.
take care.